The video game industry is a mess right now, more particularly gaming journalism. It's like these guys love to have bad publicity. I literally cannot think of anything in recent times where I was like, wow, that gaming journalist did something good for the gaming industry. The other day we talked about Sweet Baby Inc. The developers for Black Myth Wukong came out and said they were being extorted or attempted to be extorted by Sweet Baby Inc. for $7 million to comply with their DEI efforts. That if they didn't say, okay, you guys could come in and change some things and make the game woke, they were going to be having hit pieces made on them. And we touched on one important hit piece. This was the one made by IGN, most notably by Rebecca Valentine, who sounds like I guess, Nickelodeon's Doug character. Rebecca Valentine. Anyways, this was the article she made a year ago, saying how Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. If you read this is chock full of political narrative, political commentary, wokeness, all the typical stuff you would expect from somebody like Rebecca Valentine, who's hand in hand buddies, chummy with Alyssa Mercante. She was actually on that couch segment where Alyssa Mercante challenged everybody to fight her physically, bitch. So she's basically like 110% behind everything that Alyssa Mercante is about, which is why we shouldn't give her the benefit of the doubt. She's been getting flamed to the point where Rebecca Valentine is now hiding behind the classic tweets are protected. And we talked about this just the other day. They wrote this hit piece calling the game sexist, flaming it, and we speculated that it's all part of this whole extortion scheme. It hasn't been 110% confirmed, but I mean, all the evidence, in my opinion, is there. SBI comes to you, says your game is politically correct, and that you need to make some changes to make it woke. You don't comply, they write articles about you, trashing your company, trashing your game, and essentially they try to cancel you. If she didn't have anything to hide, she would have said a statement and not gone protected. But look, where there's protected tweets, there's also damage controlling, and they actually made a statement about the original article that said the game was sexist. And here's the statement right here. We'll go ahead and show you guys right here. And we'll describe it just in a little bit because it is a bit wordy. But in this, they have no accountability for any of their actions. In fact, it almost feels like they're quadrupling down on their statements because coming up here in a minute, when we talk about it, we could see that they didn't talk about any of the mistakes that they made, which first and foremost, I don't know if you guys are aware, there was mistranslated text in this article. I'm going to show you guys a article from Geeks and Gamers that talks about it. IGN used mistranslated comments from the developer to make this article, and it in turn made game science look bad. The developers look bad when that wasn't the original statement, and they never corrected it. They never updated it. They never edited it. They never retracted it, and they made a statement about the original article, and they still didn't clarify that they had mistranslated text in there. And this is why IGN's a problem. IGN's just a mess. They have no journalistic integrity. On top of all the stuff that we've seen already between Kotaku and other news outlets, they're being called out for it. And it's funny that Rebecca Valentine is under protected tweets now, because you can see even Grum said after that mishandled translation debacle on Black Myth Wukong hit piece, IGN needs to issue a retraction and apology along with the authors who smeared them. And he calls out Rebecca Valentine and Crapstacular, who's the person that translated the text. If you're a professional outlet, can you please tell me why in the bloody hell would you use somebody that has a Twitter handle called Crapstacular? If I was IGN, I'd be like, I'm not using that guy. Look at his stupid fucking Twitter handle, Crapstacular. That should tell you the level of professionalism this guy has. But yeah, this is Grum's calling for them to essentially hold themselves accountable and admit that they completely mistranslated everything about this whole situation right here. Everything was taken out of context in the wrong manner, And it again, like I said, it was a hit piece, and that's why I believe, or why I'm inclined to believe, that Sweet Baby Inc. is definitely behind an extortion plot. That they would tell somebody to to pay up or suffer the consequences. Now, even Community Notes got them, by the way. You can see right here, IGN posted, Indie Souls like Black Myth Wukong has seen widespread acclaim since its reveal, but the studio behind it, Game Science, has long been plagued with accusations of sexism that reflect wider issues in the Chinese games industry. And I hate that. It's like that babble speech that these guys have, like, plagued, accusations, reflect wider issues. They always have to have, like, this weird, I guess, IntelliSpeak that they try to have. But anyways, Community Notes fucked them up to the point where only accounts IGN mentioned can reply. That's how you know. Like okay, so Rebecca Valentine goes in protected tweets. Craptacular has gone in protected tweets, by the way, as well. And they're just hiding. These guys are just hiding. Only accounts that IGN mentions can reply. But anyways, let's look at Community Notes real quick. It says the sexist quotes shown in the article are poorly translated. Accurate translations show the statements being vulgar, but definitely not sexist. IGN reporting on these fallacious, fallacious, I can't speak. I have that frog mouth sometimes with the tongue. Unverified claims as though their fact is yellow journalism, which CNs were made to combat. So, Community Notes did their part. Congrats, Community Notes. Gosh, you just gotta love the Community Notes. Calling it all out here, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, Craptacular, just for FYI, has gone protected tweets. So if they weren't in the wrong at all, if they weren't in the wrong, sure, yeah, they're getting backlash. But what are they hiding? This is what they do, guys. They fuck up, and instead of admitting they're wrong, instead of issuing a statement that's properly holding themselves accountable, they double down with a statement that we're about to read, and then both of the people go protected. Coward stuff. Yellow journalism is a appropriate description for what this is. So, yeah, all this is just adding up, ladies and gentlemen. So, check this out. Here's another thing that got revealed. And Grum's, man, you know, I did a video on Grum's a while back about how his take on the title screen for Starfield was lazy and terrible because he said the title screen being minimalistic means the game's going to be bad. And I said it was a terrible take. But he does God's work on Twitter when it comes to calling out all these companies that lack integrity and all these journalists that lack integrity. I have nothing against Grum's, just an opinion piece, by the way. But you can see, he says, it appears that IGN never paid for the mistranslated text used to slander Black Myth Wukong. While translator and co-author Craptacular has gone protected, other journalists are still responding to his tweets where it seems he complains of not being paid by IGN. So they didn't pay him. Do you get what you pay for? I think that's what Smash JT says right there on the right. Yeah, he says it right above my head right here. You get what you pay for. So all these journalists are basically saying he didn't get paid and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's just kind of, I doubt. I know IGN's a mess, but I doubt that IGN didn't pay their translator. Now, all this stuff, all these, you know, articles where you're writing, calling the game sexist, and, you know, you get all these writers like Rebecca Valentine right here. So here's her profile on IGN. By the way, this is not doxing. This is all public information. Bay Area, California, checks out. You know, Nose Ring Mafia, checks out. Pronouns in bio, checks out. You know, like, there's all these common things, man. When you look at these journalists, it's like identifying identifiers that let you know they all think alike. They're all the same echo chamber. They're literally all brainless, mindless clones that will write hit pieces and conspire together in the little group chats. I know they say don't watch people's contents, but trust me, they are watching and seeing everything that people like myself, Smash JT, Hypnotic, Atreus, Melanie Mac, Stutter and Craig, you name it. They're watching and they're paying attention to everything. They are coping and seething because they have nothing at this point. They can only go protected tweets and double down with nonsense. They suck. They literally suck. Now, in this statement, that we're gonna look at right here. They fail to address the mistranslated text, and then they basically go defensive. Like Grum summed it up right here, actually. So this is the statement that we're about to look at. They demand the developer address their false claims against them. They demand the developer she attacked to defend her personally for making these false claims, and they whine that there are no femme-coded characters in the game. So this is all from Rebecca Valentine, who, again, if you remember, is under protected tweets right now. So they put this statement out by Rebecca Valentine, and they said, last year we published a comprehensive report on IGN, detailing a number of sexist and inappropriate remarks made by multiple developers of Black Myth Wukong, including those in leadership roles at Game Science. As of the publication of this preview, Game Science has yet to provide any response or statement addressing our report or their past remarks. Now, real quick, I'm going to say this. Dark humor, locker room talk, sure, it might not be politically correct. It might not be the most professional thing, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was in sports. I was in football. If you're not sexually harassing anybody, if you're just making funny comments and everybody in the office is cool about it, I don't see anything wrong with it. Is it professional? No. Does it make a whole company developer sexist? Does it ruin the integrity of a game? No. But here's what's so funny about this. These guys like Alyssa Mercante, Nick Calandra, Jessica Cogswell, Rebecca Valentine, they are quick to point out that games that have sexism and bigotry and racism in them are all because of certain ways that I guess the developers and the companies behind them talk and act. So if this is comments that the developers had, how come when it's Sweet Baby Inc. influencing games with their political agendas and narratives, how come it doesn't count then? How come it's only because you don't like these people that their influence makes the game something, but Sweet Baby Inc. can't influence a game in any negative way because you guys are pushing certain political narratives and stuff? Funny how that works. Just to point that out. I think that's really funny how that works. That Sweet Baby Inc. and all the weird wokiness that you guys are promoting has no negative effects at all. But God forbid a developer is different than you guys, because then they're sexist and all that stuff. So continuing on, you can see they say, like Mitchell, I had the opportunity to see Black Myth Wukong at Summer Game Fest. Though my appointment was admittedly a little strange, I was told as part of my invitation that Game Science would have a statement related to the reports of sexism. I arrived at the appointment and saw the game as planned, but when I asked for the promised statement, I was told by a PR representative, Game Science is focused on the demo during play days and will only answer questions related to gameplay. In my opinion, that is more than professional. If Rebecca was a journalist, she would understand that the PR representatives at game events like E3 and all that, those people don't work for the fucking company. I hope you know that. They might be representatives of PR and stuff, but they literally don't know anything about actual in-house shit. They're just there to look pretty, wear a t-shirt that has the game's logo on it, and give you a walkthrough of the game that you're doing. You should know that. I know that. And I've gone to events like E3 and stuff. Now, to not have a statement ready and stuff like that, like they were expecting, like, come on. You know what I mean? It's there for the demo. It's there on the fucking vendor floor. You got to have a better appointment set on the side for that to get stuff like that. It just doesn't add up to me. Now she says Mitchell's preview doesn't need my validation, but for what it's worth, I fully back everything he's written here. Black Myth Wukong looks like it'll be a great game. It's gorgeous with snappy combat, fantastic monster design, and some really interesting boss fights. It's also true that several of the people who are making it have made disparaging remarks about women and don't seem to be interested in either in retracting their past statements or in supporting the numerous women who are being harassed in online conversations about Black Myth Wukong, purely for expressing their discomfort with those statements. Both of these ideas can exist simultaneously. What audience want to do about this conflict, it's ultimately their choice. Now, real quick, again, I'm not trying to sound insensitive here, but if I make a comment, if I say something, those opinions and ideas are expressively written as my own. Isn't that what you guys put in your bios besides Free Palestine and the Ukraine flag and pronouns? You put opinions are my own. How come it reflects on the whole entire development company when it's something that you're labeling as sexist? That makes no sense at all. If it's not you and your ilk, like y'all like to say about people you don't like making opinions, then it reflects a whole entire company. I don't think that's the way it works, sister. If somebody or a handful of people at Game Science make sexist statements or disparaging remarks, as you like to label them, that doesn't reflect the views of a whole company. And it's funny that you guys pick and choose, because I even saw the fucking CEO of Epic Games yesterday say that they don't believe in cancel culture and all this crap, which we're going to talk about that in a separate video, but that, you know, people have the right to their opinion at the same time. It's only allowed, though, when it's in your guys' echo chamber. I didn't even give that justice. But my point is that Rebecca Valentine and her ilk could say whatever the fuck they want, and it's their opinion only and not their company's. It's not Kotaku's. It's not IGN's. But God forbid a developer says a joke that, you know, doesn't hurt anybody, and it reflects on everything, and you make it the point of your statement to where you're like, oh, yeah, but I was right. Like, you're doubling down. You're scum. Now, she says, one last note, I didn't see any women or femme-coded characters in the demo, and I was able to confirm from Game Science that there were none present in the section of the game presented to the press. There will be women in the final game, but for now it's impossible to really comment on whether or not Game Science developers express beliefs permeate Black Myth Wukong in a meaningful way. She's bitching about femme-coded or female characters in a game. It's a Chinese game. It's people from China. They're not Western influenced. You can't put your woke bullshit in their video games. And even then, who gives a fuck if it's a male-dominated game? Yeah, maybe it was a small segment where there was no females in that section of the game. But even then, I don't care what gender of a character I'm playing in a video game. I heard Vera Dark say it in her video talking about this. How narcissistic, as my tongue can't move, because I just can't comprehend the logic behind this. How narcissistic must you be to where when you're watching a movie, a TV show, or playing a fucking video game, you have to see yourself in that character? Like, to me, that's borderline autistic. like, oh, I'm playing this game. I have to see myself in this character, or it's not a good game at all, and I'm not represented, and this game ain't diverse enough. Like, get over yourself. I don't need to see me in the character. Like, I don't see myself in Kratos. I don't see myself in Ryu or Link or Super Mario even though we're short and chubby and have facial hair. I don't need to see myself represented in everything that I fucking play. That's being a narcissist. And to sit there and complain, oh, there's no females, fuck off. You're just looking for shit at this point. You're a fucking joke. Like, Jesus Christ. I would not want to fucking be your husband or boyfriend. Imagine the fucking bitching that you would hear constantly. So yeah, that statement is just crap. And people are getting tired of this, guys, to the point where you can actually see that Black Myth Wukong has went all the way to #1 on most wished, listed, upcoming games on Steam, beating out Silksong, beating out fucking Ark 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, by like 5 times. Monster Hunter Wilds is only on 82,606 wish list following, and fucking Black Myth has over 472,000. So this proves to you, these guys doubling down, these guys making up nonsense about video games, trying to cancel them, it will always backfire. This is like the Streisand effect. This is like what happened with Hogwarts Legacy. It will always backfire on these people. People don't like cancel culture. People, these people like Rebecca Valentine and Kotaku and all these wokies, they like to think that they're changing stuff for the better. They like to think that they are actually making a difference when nothing is working. You are not the majority. You don't speak for the casual gaming. You speak for this weird, invisible, modern audience that really doesn't fucking exist. And it's often, at times, a fucking failure. And it's funny when people go, oh, dude, there's no such thing as woke. Wanting diversity's not this and that. Diversity's fine on paper. And it's great and dandy for certain things, as long as we're not shoehorning and forcing in political narratives that are just canceling everybody else that has anything else to say. That's what I have an issue with. So good on Black Myth Wukong for hitting number 1, but bad on IGN. IGN, you guys suck. You guys are the worst. You guys have no accountability for nothing. And, I love to see that these people are hiding and backfiring and blocking and tweeting, cope. They're literally tweeting cope. You see Nick Calandra, Alyssa Mercante daily. They're coping. And, I think we are making a difference. People like me, Smash, Hypnotic, Atreus, Melanie Mack, Quartering even, Side Scrollers, you name it. I think we're all making a difference. And there's a lot of other people too, Trent Report, Minimal Effort Gaming. Everybody's just doing their part talking about this. And you know what? You love to see all this backfiring on these people. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you on the next one.